a second, please join and share.
And just make sure that we are going on to Facebook here to share as much as you possibly can. As soon as I get everything all
We have
up here.
an action-packed show today, guys. Action-packed, full of all the information. Special guests. We got big tournaments to talk about. Of course, we got Efren Reyes coming. We got one of the best APA directors in the country going to join us today. We're very lucky to have him. So buckle up, tune in. If you have any questions, feel free to load up those chats. We want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, this is absolutely unbelievable, guys. I mean, listen, we have so much to talk about today. So let's bring him in right now. We are going to go to our very, very special guest. He is here live on the Shark Stream. Thank you so much for joining us, Bruce Barthelette. We are so happy to have you here on the Shark Stream. And you see him down there. So thank you so much, Bruce, for coming on in. Hopefully you guys can hear him out there. Please do let us know if you guys can hear him out there. And we want to make sure that everything is going right. This is actually our first Zoom call during Shark Talk Live. So we want to make sure that everything is going just right for you guys. So please let us know if you guys can hear everybody out there. And Bruce, say hello to everybody.
Well, how's everybody doing? Great to be here tonight. It's kind of an honor to be your first guest on this Shark Stream like this. So good. Everything's going well.
Yeah, so, thank you guys so much for coming in, Bruce. Obviously, we're hearing everybody saying that we can all hear loud and clear, so we can get this dog and pony show on the road. So, I'll tell you, the first thing coming up this week, this Friday, the winter session playoffs are going to be coming up. So I just wanted to share a couple of things along with you. Obviously, a really exciting time. So, Bruce, could you share a couple of words about what's upcoming with the playoffs this weekend?
Well, we have our qualifier cups. Actually, it's going to be for the next 3 weekends.
Yep.
We start this Friday night, 6 o'clock. That'll be the first round. It'll be for the 8-ball Tier 1 playoffs. They'll be running right through Saturday into Sunday. And then we do it again next weekend and then the following weekend. So we got 3 weekends of lots of tournaments, lots of players. We got 8-ball and 9-ball. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it.
I heard you guys
it's
had
a good tournament.
Big event this last weekend as well. Some big money changed hands because Hawaii wasn't in play this year, obviously. But I heard there was some big money and there was a couple big winners.
Yeah, do tell.
Yeah, well, we had 2 teams qualify this weekend. They played down to, we had a total of 16 teams that qualified actually for the event. And we got it down to 2 teams. And both teams, we were going to actually play it down to 1 team, and there was enough money in there. If they did want to go to Hawaii, there was enough money in there for them to go away. When it came down to the last 2 teams, they decided to split the purse. So each team got $4,500 apiece. So that was a nice price.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely cannot go wrong with that kind of money. That's definitely really awesome. And just so we know, I know you guys are out there. We see a bunch of people that are out there have already shared the video. If you have any questions for Bruce Barthelette, please share them in the comments, and we will do our best to share a couple of those questions with him, and we'll see what we can do to answer those as well. A couple of clerical things coming up with this weekend. Obviously, with the COVID-19 Omicron variant still raging in Connecticut and all around the country, we do have a couple of things that we need to share. So, Bruce, could you please share everything for all of the players that are going to be going there for this weekend and the future weekends?
Well, they do have the mask mandate for East Windsor, Connecticut. So the players do have to wear a mask when they're there. I believe if you're sitting down eating or drinking, you don't have to. Mm-hmm. But there is a mask mandate. I think everybody's kind of used to it by now. This is year 3 we've been into this thing. Yeah. Hopefully, not too many more of these. Hopefully we'll be able to get away from this soon. But for now, we do have to follow what the laws are and the rules. So we will be requiring, please bring a mask with you if you are playing this weekend.
Yeah, so just
Nothing
remember.
wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
No,
it's
not at all.
Be safe as sorry. Town ordinance, got to follow the rules. No problem with that.
Yeah.
We made it this far, so let's keep it going, guys. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, I mean, have a lot of great competitive play to coming up, and just remember, everybody, on top of, making sure that we're all being safe and we're all doing what we need to help fight this virus, make sure that we're all having fun this weekend as well. Definitely a lot of great pool action to be had with 8-ball and 9-ball this weekend. I believe these are Tier 1 playoffs, if I'm not mistaken.
Tier 1, yeah. This is the Tier 1 playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The winners from this weekend will come back in June, play for Las Vegas. which will be held in August this year. Again, we're back to normal schedule.
That would be
The last
great.
few
That
years,
would be
everything's
great.
been kind of mixing. We were playing it by ear there. There was a lot of stuff that was just uncertain. This year here, it looks pretty certain that the singles tournaments will be going on in the end of April in Vegas for the people that qualify for the singles, and the team events will be held in August for the teams that make it out there for that there.
And with the upcoming session this year, obviously the spring session just started. We just got through weeks number 1 and 2 this past week. How is the outlook for the spring session team-wise for the Connecticut APA? Obviously, have we we've seen a big increase since COVID allowed us to come and play. Since COVID reined itself in a little bit to allow us to come and play again. Have we continued to see that increase over the past couple of sessions?
We had a very nice increase from the fall session to the spring session. I think by next year at this time, everybody will be back. We're probably around, I think we're about 88% of the teams are back. So it's pretty good. We're very happy
That's
with
really
that
good.
number.
Absolutely.
There was a lot of places, especially the mom and pop places that, small taverns, they just couldn't make it through the COVID, obviously with the closing down and, or else they weren't serving food. So we did lose some places that were unable to come back. But overall, we're very happy. I think we've seen our biggest increases in the places like Yale Billiards. I think you got the highest number that you've ever had at your
we have more
place.
teams we ever had. It's crazy. It's unbelievable. And you go out there tonight, it's packed. Yeah.
Yeah, and that holds true with I think there's like 4 or 5 big places in Connecticut that have a lot of teams, and every one of them saw an increase. So I think pool's alive and doing very well right now. I think you're going to see. I'm expecting a big influx in the coming year with pool, especially with all the things going on. I know you're going to talk about Jason Shaw's run, which is the talk.
Oh
of
my goodness!
Everything
we
right
want
now.
to talk a little bit about that. I want your opinion because you're obviously a trick shotter, a straight pool artist. I mean, you know the game very well. What did you think of Jason Shaw and what he did?
Oh my gosh. I grew up on straight pool. When I was a kid, that's all I played. I didn't play 9-ball until I was probably 16, 18 years old before I even played my first game of 9-ball. Mm-hmm. It was all straight pool when I was a kid. So I love the game. And what he did.
Talking to a guy who comes from the old school right here.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I've been playing 63 years of pool. So it's been a long time. But I mean, what he did is just, it's not even so much, it's the shot making. It's just, he's got to be perfect, but it's also the concentration, though. People don't realize it's hard to hold your concentration for that long, because usually when a person misses, it's on a mental error. If you watched a lot of his runs, he missed an easy shot sometimes or whatever. And that last run, he just held it all together. And to do that is just unbelievable.
And not only that, he did it for what, 4 days, 5 days straight? Two sessions
6.
a day.
Yeah, this was his 6th day.
He had blisters on his hands, his shoulder, his back was hurt. I mean, I get sore sometimes after 3-4 hours. I can't imagine the 60 hours in 3 days or 80 hours in 4 days. And for those guys out there practicing, I would definitely take a note and watch some of that because the dedication he has is the reason where he is where he's at.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely. It's just unbelievable. It's just. I always said if it was any other sport, unfortunately, pool doesn't get the recognition that it should get. But if this was any other sport, this would be a national news. I mean, this is that big. Willie Mosconi had the record 526 since 1954, before John Schmidt broke it 2 years, 8 months ago. Yeah, but I mean, that was a record that was held for almost 60 years before somebody broke it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, now it's Jason comes along and does that. And who knows where it's going to go from here. I think you're going to see a renewed interest in the game of straight pool.
I think so, too. I've seen a buzz I've never seen before on the internet and just Facebook. It's just really talking about the hype and exactly what you said. It was entertaining, and I think you're going to see an uptick in it for sure.
Well, I mean, not only to piggyback on that, but obviously I have contacts in the media world. I still have contacts in the media world, and I remember messaging a friend of mine today who actually interviewed Shaw after he won the U.S. Open, right after he had moved here to West Haven and taken over U.S. 1, and he's very, very interested in this because he's
sure
like,
it's going to be in all the local news channels for sure. This is a big deal.
The thing about this is, because you're bringing in a name that has always been synonymous with pool in the mainstream and Willie Mosconi. I understand that Shaw did not break Mosconi's record per se because he ended up breaking, Schmidt's record, but it's the fact that up until John Schmidt had broken it, everybody had always seen that it was Willie's record. And because his name is still always in that conversation, I feel like if a media outlet picks this up and allows this one to run and they do it the right way on local news, it very well could filter its way up into national networks. I would not be surprised to see somebody pick this up and say, wow, that's something crazy. So this could be big if done correctly. I mean,
I agree. I would be nice for ESPN or even one of the major networks like NBC or ABC or one of them, Fox to pick it up, because something like this here, records like that, you think how long Willie Mosconi had it, like I said,
it stood the test of time
for it to be broken. And then you got a guy to come along and do it this way, and 714 balls in a row.
Amazing, right?
I mean, just think about that. I could put one in front of a pocket. I don't think I could shoot 714 balls in if they were all sitting in front of the pocket.
We work nights and he's working nights. I'm texting him in the morning at 8:00. Look at this. Are you watching this?
Yeah.
I mean, it was incredible. It was incredible.
Yeah.
And for those of you out there who don't understand how 14-1 continuous straight pool works, that is 51 straight racks of continuous running
Not
without
one
missing.
miss, not one scratch.
That is ridiculous. He scratched on the break shot on rack 52. Absolutely.
And plus, you got to
I
leave the
talked to a
last
friend
ball
of his.
up
He was actually
and break
relieved.
open a
He said
rack.
he was relieved at that point. He was, he was just in the zone and he was actually a little relieved there.
Yeah.
But it's also the hard part is you got to leave the last ball up on the table and have the cue ball in position to make the ball and break open the rack enough where you have another shot.
Yep.
That's really a tough part to get that pinpoint position every time. And if you see some of the cuts he made to make the ball, the go into the rack, it's just unbelievable. The guy, when they call him Eagle Eye, there's a reason they call him that. I mean, the guy is remarkable, absolutely remarkable the way he shoots.
Well, Bruce, let's take it back to your professional experience for a bit. Obviously, you were a professional trick shot artist. We saw you multiple times on ESPN Trick Shot Magic, and you've been in a situation where obviously when you're playing some of these very, very elaborate trick shots, everything has to be very pinpoint. How did you practice to be so pinpoint? As a way to try to maybe enlighten our viewers as to how much Shaw has to practice to be that pinpoint in a game such as straight pool.
Well, I mean, with trick shots, you got to, the ones we did, a lot of them were double shots with another partner. So, I mean, I spent a lot of time. I remember with Andy Siegel, he lived about 3.5 hours away. So him and I were always partners because we lived the closest together at the time. And so I would go to his house and I'd spend 5 to 6 days there. He'd come to my house, spend 5 to 6 days. And it was just a lot of practice. I mean, we just spent the whole day practicing our shots, first we had to come up with a shot, and then we had to practice it. And it's dedication. You really have to want it. You got to get to the point where you're going to be able to, make these shots and do what needs to be done. And you got to practice. You got to dedicate yourself to practice. And I can remember, I think the last show, we had to know like 1,000 shots. And the only way you did it, we had a book and it had every shot in it. And what we did was you had to practice and take notes because you couldn't possibly remember 1,000 shots where you need to hit the ball 7 o'clock. You may have to all medium speed, make sure this is lined up with this diamond, that's lined up, and try to get it just right. And every table plays different. So it was a lot of practice, a lot of dedication, and, it paid off.
We saw it, like I said, you said that dedication. I mean, I've never seen anybody have a blister on their hand from playing pool. That's what Jason Shaw had, and that's dedication. I mean, really, that's dedication. He was supposed to leave 2 days prior. He said, "I'm going to stay and try to beat this record."
Yeah, and he didn't feel right. He'd run a 400. It was his personal best, and he said to himself, I'm not done. I have to do this.
That was fantastic.
That's crazy, I know. Think about it. He was in his car. He was heading back. I heard the story I think that he was actually getting ready. He had his wife and his children with him, I believe, and they were getting ready to head back up to Connecticut.
They actually left it. They checked out of their hotel and checked into a new hotel and stayed another day. Unbelievable. Jason Shaw, nice job.
Further. What a crazy story. That's just unbelievable.
And
imagine how tired he was when he got in the car. I mean, probably hadn't slept or nothing. And you know, you want to just get home, go to bed. And he said, no, I'm going to keep going. That's why he's the best. There's no question why.
That's why he's VIP or MVP of the Moscone Cup. He's that good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He puts the time in, and he puts his practice drills online, and you see him. You can watch them, and they're just unbelievable. And he's relentless.
They're brutal.
Yeah, they're brutal, but he's relentless, and he finishes them. It's unreal. It's great to see. Great to see.
So,
well, there's one other thing I read on here. Now, I don't know how true it is. It said he ran 30 racks of 9-ball once. That's all. I'm going to have to ask him that when I see him.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah. Well, somebody posted that he ran 30 racks of 9-ball.
Yeah,
Well, I'll have to ask when I see him, but that's a lot of racks of 9-ball.
I've seen. I've seen. I've seen other comments of players that were also on the Moscone Cup team with him. Guys like Joshua Filler, who said that they were able to run 25, 26 in practice. That's insane to think.
Yeah,
Guys like that being able to run that many racks. You see him sometimes. Being able to break 10s and 11s in a competition, and I mean that's just the pinnacle. But when you're breaking 25s and 26s even in practice, that's unbelievable.
And one of our audience members said he was actually thinking about playing straight pool today, as we were talking about. I think more people are actually going to start playing it a little bit.
Yeah,
and it's going to come back, and maybe APA Straight Pool League. Who knows?
Hey, you never know.
Yeah,
well, you got some good straight pool. Bobby Dargis, I believe, is a straight pool player.
Yes, Bobby Dargis.
Bobby Dargis messaged me today about an hour and a half after the straight pool run had ended, and he actually hadn't heard about it. He was so stunned when he heard about it. He's like, "Oh, I got to go and watch it." And I told him that I'd share the recording when they put it out there. Hopefully. I believe they had said that they're going to put the recording on Facebook for people to see.
They need to count it first.
And they're just going to make sure that everything is verified and all counted. Yeah. So hopefully if that gets out there, the Shark Stream is 100% going to get that out there because it needs to be out there for notoriety and for proof that he is indeed Mr. 714. They're calling him the Babe Ruth of pool.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, of the 714 home runs, 714
And that's why he wore his Yankee shirt.
Yeah, that's right. So, there's one more question for you on this topic.
Sure.
And that is, we saw that John Schmidt's run lasted 2 years and 8 months after 54 years of this record holding up under Moscone. How long before somebody topples Eagle Eye?
Now, mind you, before he did this, I believe it was Filler was in there. Strickland was there. Those guys were already trying. Those guys were already there trying.
I think Filler wants to do it.
They all do. I mean, now it's a prestige, and now it's a bragging right.
Well, Shane only had, 3-something, I believe, and Earl Strickland.
Yeah, I think he run like a 390.
They were like the 300s.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nobody's come. Yeah, this is, I don't know. I mean, it took him 6 days, and he's one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
So I guess
it took Schmidt 3 weeks.
The next person wants to be.
Yeah, it took him 3 weeks.
Yeah, it took Schmidt 3 weeks at 8 hours a day.
Well, he was actually, he was going around the country, and he was spending 30 days at a time, and that was like his 4th or 5th stop, I believe.
Yeah, that was it was Bullshooters. It was Bullshooters was the name of the place when he did it.
Well, did you hear the guys? They said, they're going to take that table. To me, that belongs in the Smithsonian right now. I mean, something like that there.
Yeah,
I mean, that's like, that table should be, I know one thing, I'd put that table away somehow. I'd take it apart, put it away, or somehow, or do something,
Yeah,
have them sign it. And
I have to wonder if the New England Pool and Billiards Hall of Fame would want a small piece of that table just to commemorate the fact that they have a piece of it in their gallery.
His name's already up there as well, too. So he's been he won a couple times there.
It's funny.
I'm sure he's going to take
to
something
see if they
back.
want a piece of that.
He'll probably take the set of balls back or something.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Jason,
I'm sure. And Jason's really good like that, though, with the fans. I mean, obviously we know him because he's a local pool hall owner. But, I mean, he actually auctions off his shirt. I've seen him do auction stuff off for charity. You know what I mean? He gives back to the events. He adds money to his tournaments. He's not all about, give me everything. He's a great guy. He shares everything, and he's a real hard worker. And I think he's going to do, like with the balls or whatever he's going to do good things with it.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable piece of notoriety to have, too. I mean, I know that Schmidt was obviously touting it for a while, and listen, regardless of what happened today, he might be number 2 in the record books, but he was the man who cracked Willie first. And John Schmidt's forever going to be remembered as not only Mr. 400 but Mr. 600 too.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
you know,
what he did was unbelievable.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for John Schmidt doing what he did, this would have never happened today.
Yeah.
It's only this would have never have nobody would have went for the record. I don't believe.
Yeah.
They've had a few others I've seen, but they always try it on like diamond tables too, which it's impossible to run. On a tight
Yeah, they made their
table.
lives
You're not
harder.
gonna get- yeah, you're not going to get that kind of a run. Yeah, but
Yep.
this was just crazy though. I mean, I'm happy for him. I couldn't be happier for Jason.
Agreed. We agreed. And
Yeah.
Anthony Petrilli said that Jason Shaw is the Michael Jordan of pool.
We'll see.
You got Efren coming tomorrow. He's the GOAT, but he's playing right now. He's the best player right now. I think hands down, for sure.
So before we get
I
into
agree.
talk about Efren, I just want to ask two questions that our fans have had out there for you. Paul Mucci asking if you will be at Yale tomorrow for the event with Efren Reyes.
Tomorrow, unfortunately, well, I say, you know what? There is a possibility. I got my, I go, well, you know
He's
what?
on the
Today
fence,
I got
guys.
my booster shot. Well, the only reason I say that, I got my booster shot today.
I'm due for mine
So
on
I
Friday.
don't know how I'm going to feel tomorrow. Because I had COVID, I was like Bobby, I ended up in a hospital.
Yep.
And anybody who gets COVID bad, I guess, and you get your shot, you get a little sick the next day. So I'm not sure how I'm going to feel tomorrow. If it's like the last 2 shots, no, I won't be there.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
right.
probably
Yeah,
be in
those
bed
are
all
rough. They're
day.
rough.
I don't think it's going to be a rough day tomorrow. So, and that's the reason.
Hopefully
But if
it's
I'm
not.
feeling
And of
up to
course,
it,
you're always
yeah.
welcome, obviously.
Well, I appreciate it. If
We'll
I'm
make-
feeling
we'll make
good,
sure to
then
find
I'll
you a
take
good
a ride
seat.
down.
Yeah.
We'll make sure to find you a good seat for sure.
Okay.
And then the second question that we also had is from Hector Sanchez Sr. Do you have any word of any more singles qualifiers that are going to be happening anytime soon for single sports?
I just did some this past weekend.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing them at the qualifier cups like this weekend. As soon as tables open up, I will be doing them this weekend.
Cool.
I'm bringing them down there with me. So look for it on Facebook. As soon as they open up, we'll put it up on Facebook on our page. Go to the Connecticut APA page, and we'll have it up there and what times and everything. I think Kim said Sunday we should have some open tables. It should be good. So we'll probably most likely be running them this Sunday.
Well,
We can do a splash board, or we can do
Nice.
just
Or
run regular
singles
single
or
boards.
splash board. And
Yeah.
that's actually I want to lead me into my next couple of questions for you, Bruce. I know
Sure.
we already talked a little bit about APA, but 2 things I wanted to ask you. One's probably a little longer than the other. Is can you tell everybody a little bit about APA and how you started? I know the story, but a lot of these people here haven't heard about the story.
I'm interested.
I remember he's interested. I remember you're walking the beat, walking bar to bar, getting people in there. And then the second question is, I'll ask it after you just give us a little synopsis of how your league
I'll try to
started.
make a long story into a shorter story. But anyway, it's 1982. I started playing. APA was in Massachusetts. It was called the Bush Pool League then.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember at a local bar it started that I used to hang around with. So I joined a team. I actually joined the team back in 1982. It was run by a guy named John Wadlick. John ran the Western Massachusetts Bush Pool League. So I was in for like 7 years. And the only place that had it was here, and I believe at the Cape. They had the Bush Pool League. So I went to a meeting one day and I asked John, I said, how do I get involved in this thing? And he gave me a phone number to call. So I ended up calling the number up. And I remember on the other end, they said, can you be in St. Louis in 2 weeks from now? We have an opening in Connecticut if you want to run leagues. I said, yeah, okay, why not? So I bought a plane ticket. 2 weeks later, I was
How old are you
in St.
how old are you at
Louis.
this point? How old are you? You're still
This
young?
was 1989, so I was 34 years old then.
Okay.
Going on 29.
Yeah.
Right. Unfortunately, I just turned 67. I wish we could turn the clock back. But at any rate, so I got on a plane. I went out there. I had a 2.5 day crash course on how to run pool leagues. And I came back, and of course, I'm from Massachusetts. I really don't go to Connecticut much. So I just started going on the road, and I went from bar to bar. And I would walk in. I basically would talk to the bartender, whoever was there, and I'd shoot a few games of pool with them and tell them about the league. And I remember, I think it was, I went March 22nd is when I got back from St. Louis. And I had till April 1st to get 6 teams going so I could send one to a regional event.
I have more than that here right now, but
And so I went, and I remember I said, okay, I just hurried things together. I held a quick meeting. I remember the meeting. There was 3 people in the meeting, and 2 of them were from the same bar. And I said, "We're starting next Tuesday." And they go, "How?" I said, "Don't worry, I'll figure that part out. We just get ready to play." So by next Tuesday, I got 6 teams together, and we played. And that's how it all started, and it just kept growing from there.
Yeah.
I used to go to spend every night going from bar to bar. I don't know. I just kind of just drove around wherever there was a bar with a pool table. I went in.
Do you remember who the first bar who agreed to you was?
The first bar was the Italian American Club in was that South Windsor?
Wow.
Yeah, Windsor Lock. Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. It was.
Wow.
That was the very first bar that got
Italian
in.
American Club.
And where are we at now? How many teams were we averaging the last couple years?
The highest we ever
And
had.
what
was
rate
the
are you
South-
as far as United States?
Oh, we're number 2. We're still number 2, the second
Okay.
largest.
Too.
Yeah,
Number
I think we're
two.
second
On
largest
this
in the
little
world.
tiny
right?
Connecticut, number 2 in the country.
I think in the world.
I
actually.
can't
don't think
remember.
there's any-
You told us it was what, Maryland who beats us?
both sides of Maryland. You got they're number 1, number 3.
Wow.
Baltimore,
Really?
Maryland. Yeah, and then the other part of Baltimore is number 3. It's
Really?
like, one of them votes towards Washington, D.C., and one of them has it towards Virginia, I guess.
Wow.
And we're number 2. So
It's crazy.
yeah, we've been number
Just
2 since 1995, I think. Yeah.
Wow. So Anthony Petrozelli, he said he's been in the league since Bruce ran it in his in-house. He says, "You're the man." So there you go.
Since you ran it out of your house.
Oh,
Very
Anthony
nice.
goes way back. Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah,
He
just
goes.
won his first
He goes
three
pretty
points
far
of
back
baseball.
too. What your numbers?
92,
What,
92, 92, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
92.
Yes. So we started, like I say, in March 22nd, 1989 was our first day of play.
Wow, that's awesome.
So,
Crazy.
yeah.
So that's a great story, Bruce. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I know I knew it. I want everybody to see it and hear about it. It's pretty good. And then the other question I had, which is another accolade to yourself as well, not only do you have the second best region in the country, you have 2 people that are now proud sponsors of their own areas. How does one person do that, and how are they doing? Of course, we're talking about Mike and Nicole Netherland, and of course
Justin Wales.
in
Justin,
Rhode
sure.
Island.
A former
Well,
employee of you.
Yeah, great job. Great job.
Actually, I've
Bruce.
started 15 people up in this business
Really?
since I started. Some have bought, sold, but over the years, I've had 15 people that I've gotten started on the leagues, including there's Steve Blaney. There's a whole bunch of people that throughout New England, New York, down into Rhode Island, obviously. Yeah, they're doing great. By the way, Justin and Shira are doing a phenomenal job there.
Yeah.
In Rhode Island. And Mike and Nicole, I just talked to them tonight a little earlier, and they're doing a great job in Fairfield. I believe they've already grown over 20-something teams since they've taken it over.
That's impressive.
fantastic. Wow, that's great.
Yeah, well,
great.
they're really diehards. They love the game of pool. They're enthusiastic, and they're going out and doing a lot of selling. And I think it's going to be great for the area. They're going to see big things there.
Oh, I gotta put you on the spot with this one. This
Yeah,
is a really interesting question.
I was going to say we gave you the 2 softballs. Now,
Yeah.
All right,
here's the
guys.
get
hard.
ready for some heat now.
Here's the hard ball. Here's the hard ball from
we were
one of
gonna ask
our
you this
from one of our
before.
fans.
Yeah, we were going to ask
All
you
right.
before one of our viewers brought this up, but
So
okay, go
here,
ahead, you can take
here,
it.
here it goes. I will read it in quote. Bruce, do you feel there should be a cap for APA 7s in 8-ball? A Fargo 750 will play as a 7, although I'll be honest, if I see a Fargo 750 somewhere in this league, that's a little ridiculous. I'm pretty sure they play over pro speed. And a Fargo 500 also starts as a 7. You're just trying to understand if there's anything that can be done to make it more equal.
Well, I guess they don't want to make the nights longer. No, it's a good question. I've had it
Yeah.
asked many times.
Yep.
I've got the same answer I always give. I understand you're going to have a high and a low in everything, no matter what.
I agree.
You've got 2s in the league, that probably could be 1s, some could be even less. I mean, so you're going to always have that high and low. And you can only play so many games in a night. Everybody's got to get home. So you got to cap the amount of games you're playing. So you really don't have, there's always going to be, no matter what the number you put out there, there's always going to be, a cutoff at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, at one time, I always thought maybe they should play, they can make 8s and 9s in 8-ball. And, but they count as 7 towards the handicap rule. Some of my events, I've done that where the better players, I make them win more games. So, but the EPA is pretty content with the way it's working. You know, it's not perfect, but it's good. It works really well. You always are going to have those exceptions. So you're going to have, you know, in our league, we got Lucas. Lucas is a great player.
He led you into this one, Bobby. You
Yeah.
got to ask the question.
Yeah, that's good. No, that's good. Yeah, well, basically it was the same question as that. Yeah. But, you know, I agree, you know, the sevens also, you know, like he's saying 500 might be probably low end seven, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
But I mean, all the sevens percentages, most sevens have to be at least a 65, 70% win percentage, I would think, to be there. So even the higher
I mean, I've
ranks,
seen some that are less, but even then, you know, you still have to shoot well.
It's good, yeah. And with the handicap system that they have, and obviously, I mean, you don't see all killers winning all the APA events in the regionals or in the nationals or in the world. So they're doing something right. You know, it would also be all the killers. So I mean, obviously the handicap system works. And again, it's not perfect, what is, but you know, kudos to APA. I think they're doing a great job. And thanks for answering that question so respectively.
Well, I can tell you a couple of things real quick. Is I've done a lot of meetings. Like, well, I'll go to an area and I'll say, okay, I'll review every handicap in a division, and I used to do that quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I could, some of the ones were 16 team divisions, and in all of those meetings, what I did was we went through every single name and every handicap, and I let the captains vote whether they thought that handicap was correct or wasn't correct. And I can remember the most we ever moved, I think, was 4 players. And that's a lot of people on 16 teams. So the handicap system must be pretty good. You know, I mean, it's not, like I say, it's not perfect, but it works really, really good. And I'm happy with it. And the 23 rule, a lot of people real quick on that there. Why do we have the 23 rule? Where else does a 2 have a chance to go to Vegas and play for that kind of money? If you started going to 24, 25, you're eliminating all your 2s and 3s. You're not going to have any low handicappers playing because everybody's going to want the better player.
Yeah, of course.
So the 23 rule is probably our best rule that we have out there. A lot of people I know want to have it higher, but every time you bring in a handicap up higher, you're going to create the same teams winning again. And then you're also going to take the fun out of it for 2s and 3s because they're not going to be needed on the team.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that the inclusion, especially this year, of the 3 senior skill level rule in both 8-ball has really leveled things out. The 3 senior skill level rule is an absolute godsend in 9-ball. It really, really is. You know, you can create some really devastating combinations and matchups when you start adding in 3 senior skill levels. And I've seen teams exploit it in the past. Just as a player, I've seen teams that have actually tried to run the gambit with, you know, a 7-5-5-2-2 or a 7-6, you know, or a 7-6.
Oh yeah.
You know, a 7-7-5-2-2 or something weird.
1-1.
You know, or 2 9s and 2 2s or 2 9s and a 1. You know, I mean, we've seen really devastating combinations across that as well. And just to, we do have a little bit of a debate going on in the chat right now. Brian Charlton did bring up a big question, and I want to make sure that you have the final say on this one, Bruce. But I do know that the rule is that men in the regular season can be 2s, and I know I've had one on my team, and once we go into playoffs and tri-cups, those players will be moved up to 3s rather than stay 2s. Final word on that one, Bruce.
Well, they are. They did. That was Terry Bell's. He was the founder of APA.
Yeah.
You are going to be brought up to 3 males. Yeah. Are going to be brought up to 3s in both 8-ball and 9-ball.
Yeah, and you can have a male 1 as well, but they'll be moved up as well.
Right. Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, I really thought they could have kept it the way it was at 2s for 9-ball, and you know, but that's me. You know, but it works. It seems to work for everybody. It didn't affect anybody at the Nationals last year.
Yeah,
and you know, it's a very small percentage of people it will affect because most part it's going to be at the National. We don't do it at the state tournament. We still have the 2 and the 3s play in our tournament here in Connecticut. I kept it here. It's only in Vegas that rule is in effect.
Really?
So it's that's I didn't you will be brought up to an 8-ball. You will be brought up to a 3 if you're a 2.
Okay. Yeah.
A lot of people are saying, "How do you got 2s and 8-ball?" I did make up a new thing. I said, after 30 matches, if somebody calculates to a 2, I'm going to let them play as a 2.
That makes sense.
If somebody calculates to a 1 and a 9-ball after 30 matches, I let them play as a 1.
That's it. That's an interesting note because I have seen instances like that where I've always told any player that I've had. I think I've had maybe 3 male players that have ever lasted as a 2, and I've always told them, hey, I understand where we're at right now, and it's all well and good. You just keep playing your game because regardless, when we go to playoffs, you're playing as a 3. So that's just how
right.
the
For the
playoffs
8
are.
ball and 2. Yeah. Exactly.
So, I was hoping.
But like I say, so you're only affecting a very small percentage of people.
Yeah.
That are when you're going out to the Vegas thing. So.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch base on your Masters League. Obviously, champion here, but the Masters League, the ladies leagues, the Hawaii leagues. How are they going? They seem to be still growing. Some more than others. How are we doing with those teams?
Well, the Masters is just going crazy. I mean, I remember starting off trying to get 4 or 6 teams together. I think we're up to like 50 teams for Masters now.
Wow.
Which is just huge. I mean, it's the largest number we've ever had.
And I got to give you another shout out,
you guys
real quick.
Winning the championship, you almost did it again this year. I mean, you were right there.
Well, you've always been a fighter for the Masters. I remember back when, like you said a while ago, you always try to get an extra spot for the Masters. And I think you always rewarded the players that try the best and do the best. You know what I mean? You always try to do like I said, a little above and beyond than you normally do. And I appreciate that.
Well, I always try to get as many spots as they'll give me. I mean, that's, and if they offer me more, I take them. So, we try to get as many people as we can out there. We send the second most in the country, obviously. We're number 2. So we send the second most amount of teams. I think Baltimore. We send more Masters teams than they do. I know that. We send the most Masters team of anybody.
Nice.
So,
nice.
And then the ladies teams is staying about steady. We've had about the same amount. I'm not sure what the number is on it, but that's it's doing well. And the Aloha, I think that grew a little bit. The Aloha, we're hoping that Hawaii comes back. The tournament stopped out there because of all the restrictions. They used to have the tournament at Hawaiian Bryans, but I guess that I'm not even sure if they're open or whatever. But the restrictions in Hawaii is really, really strict.
They're saying you might have to be fully vaxxed to get in the country or get in the
vaxxed and boosted.
Yeah,
it's a requirement
and boosted
now.
to get in the state now.
It's a requirement now.
Right.
Yes.
So we're hoping next year maybe
it's going to be a
league operator or something. We don't know where that one's going to go, but the people like playing for the money. Like I said, it was $9,000 on the line in the last match.
And it's a Saturday league too, and people like that. Sometimes you need to get away. You can drink a little bit, let yourself loose a little bit instead of being work week. You know what I mean? That's why I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, yeah. Oh yeah, the Aloha. Well, it's also once a month.
Right.
Yeah. Which makes it, that makes it a lot easier. So you don't have that commitment of, playing every week. But you play 2 matches. So.
Right.
But I think we do that with the ladies leagues also.
So we've had a couple really good. We've had some really good events that have happened over the past couple of weeks. Obviously, we had a huge event. Bobby will share a little bit more about that. A big event that just happened. I believe our good friend Lucas Fracasso Werner ended up winning a big deal.
Yeah,
there.
he won a Mark Dion event. I don't know if you knew that. I think it was in New Hampshire. He beat a good player who Bob Lewis, who plays out of Masters here out of Connecticut APA.
Strong player.
Yeah, and he did fantastic. A field of 55. He's just a great player. I mean, you obviously seen him now in the leagues and stuff. He's doing fantastic, and congratulations to Lucas. I want to say good job by him. I mean, coming first at 55 is no joke. Congratulations on winning. I think it's the season finale, right? Was it?
No, that was I believe before the Winter Classic.
Winter Classic.
No, I don't know if it was the Winter Classic or not. I would. Either way,
it
was
$5,000 added.
Then
so
that was the Winter Classic. That was
was
the Winter Classic.
So it was. Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
So. He played. Field full of killers there. I mean, everybody jumps into that event. It's a huge event. It's obviously Mark Dion's mid-season event, and the New England 9-Ball Series is going strong with a ton of great players. So obviously, we want to say congratulations. We just wanted to get your thoughts on that as well.
Well, didn't you win a tournament in Virginia too? If I'm not mistaken.
The Maryland,
Maryland. He won
the Maryland State
Open.
Championship.
He won
the
Maryland
State
Open.
Championship.
Yeah,
he's a Maryland State champion. We're just talking about Maryland. He's a Maryland State champ.
Yeah, he went down there and beat all their killers. Guys like Brendan, he beat Brendan Schuff even. He killed him.
Yeah,
crushed him bad.
He's playing good.
Yeah, he's just a great player, great talent. What can you say? I mean, he's been good since he was a little kid. I remember him playing I remember him, Dave Gavrish, when he was another
boy.
one. That, he was like about 8 years old. I remember him coming around. I was seeing a lot of these people when they were just kids, and now they're just killers on the table. It's unbelievable. But no, congratulations, Lucas. Very happy for him. Great player. He's definitely a talent for sure. So.
Yeah, represented very well in the Nationals this year in the Masters division, of course. And he had, I believe, he also made it in 9-ball as well. So congratulations to him on that. Yep. And with the Efren Reyes event coming up tomorrow, obviously we have him and Rob Pierce are both playing Efren in a separate race to 6. We're doing separate,
yeah. They voted on it. They want to play separate. Who do you like in a race to 6? Rob? Yeah. Rob against Efren or Lucas against Efren?
Efren.
Efren.
No hesitation there.
And
you obviously met him before,
guys,
right?
Kevin and I are only 4 months apart in age.
Really?
He's 4 months older than me. Yeah. He was born in August. I was born in December in the same year. So, but he's just.
Have you met him or?
He isn't what he used to be, but he's still phenomenal. Huh?
Have you met him or played him?
Oh yeah, I met him, and when he came up through here last time, I got to go out to dinner with him and hang out with him a bit.
Oh, okay,
and,
you did the last tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So, yeah,
Very
cool. It's great.
So, out of I'm sure that you've been an aficionado of watching matches before. Do you have a particularly favorite match that you remember Efren Reyes playing? That you watched and just always remember that match and saying, "Wow, that was like one of the matches that I watched either on ESPN or online on YouTube somewhere where you just said, wow, this is unreal."
Well, I got to see that Color of Money match there. You remember when he played Earl?
When he played Earl in the race 100?
Yeah. I actually met the guy who put the money up for it. The guy's name was Bob Moore.
Really?
In 1996, I went over to England with Mike Massey for the Moscone Cup to watch, and. That's what it was, USA against Europe back then.
Yep.
And I almost got to play in the thing. What happened was Alan Hopkins, because I'm the only American over there, Alan Hopkins' his passport expired.
Really?
And they didn't know if he was going to get to go over there. And all of a sudden, I almost got to be able to play in a Moscone Cup in 1996, which was really strange. Would have been something. That would have been something I would have liked on my resume.
Yeah, right. Wow.
Say 96. That was around the time of the year that we were seeing guys like Steve Davis and Ronnie O'Sullivan still playing on the European.
I saw Ronnie O'Sullivan first time I met him. He was like 18 years old. I got a bunch of pictures with him. I saw him. He got up to the snooker table. He ran it right-handed, threw out the balls, and then he ran it left-handed. I've never seen anybody do that in my life. I go, you got to be kidding! They had crazy. A snooker practice table there, and a regular table. It was just unbelievable. Yeah, it was. Both of them were on the team for. Ralph Souquet was on the team.
Oh,
they had a whole bunch of players back then. Yeah, Mika was on the team. They were just young kids then.
Yeah.
That's going back 26 years ago. So.
Yeah, my girlfriend mentioning that you were there in the Moscone Cup watching all of those monsters play, and my girlfriend was born in 1996.
Don't make us feel any older here, so we're
really
are.
Well, I got grandchildren playing in the league. Don't forget that. That since I started, the parents started, they've had grandchildren since then. So.
We're not going to keep you anymore, Bruce. We kept you for almost an hour.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you coming on.
Our
first Zoom call on the Shark Stream. Thank you very much.
Before you head out, we'd like to give you an opportunity, a fresh minute to tell everything and anything that you want to talk about regarding the APA, and just give you the opportunity to have the spotlight. So for the next 60 seconds, the floor is yours, good sir.
Well, I just want to thank everybody for playing it. Since we started, I think we've had over 80,000 players here in Connecticut. Which is unbelievable. And as I was saying, there's, we've had, I love it because the league is a fun league. And that's what we promote more than anything. Vegas, that's out there. But I love it when the players play for fun and have a good time. Some of our, our best teams are like made up just all 2s and 3s. And, they just love it. It's their life. I can't tell you. And how do I put this? I've gone to funerals where I've had to put trophies inside of coffins. I've had to have patches, just different things were like that there. I mean, people really take this game seriously and they love the APA, and we're glad, I'm glad. And my wife, Ian, we never get to mention her much. Without her, I wouldn't have this league. That's for sure. She works 3 times harder than I do. And, but we're just happy to be able to do it for so long and, give everybody, a nice night out. So thank you, everyone.
All right, you're welcome.
Yeah, by all means, thank you so much,
Yeah.
Bruce. We're so very, very happy to have you. And again, please join us again in the coming weeks if you have something coming up, and let us know. And of course, Bobby's got something else.
The Bruce and I decided we're going to do our match right after the qualifiers because he's got 3 long weekends.
Nice.
So we're going to do our match in about 3 weeks on a Monday night. And we'll get that to happen. Let's get some likes out there for Bruce Barthelette before he leaves, guys. Let's get some likes and some shares for him.
And if I might know, we were talking about somebody who said about the contest between you and Bobby. I believe you guys ended up roughly the same weight.
We
Did
kind
you not?
of we kind of
We just called it a
said,
draw.
"Ish."
Yeah, decided we'll do the thing on the pool table.
Listen, we're pool hall people. We're gonna settle this on the table like men, okay?
And we're gonna eat.
All right. So that's what we
Thanks,
do.
guys.
This is the matchup, guys. It's Bobby versus Bruce, and everybody brings something for the potluck. And we fill these guys up and then see which one of them gets through the set before they fall into a food coma.
Nice.
That sounds like
It'll be
plan.
fun. I'm looking forward to it.
I like it.
Hey, thanks guys for having me on. I
thank
really
you,
appreciate
Bruce.
it. Great time.
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you
Appreciate
so much.
you taking your time on a Tuesday night.
All right.
No problem.
Have a
Thank you.
great night, sir. We're very happy to
You
have
too.
you here, sir.
So long.
All right. Bye now.
Alrighty, so that was Bruce Barthelette. So very happy to have him in the booth with us. Obviously, we had a really great time here on the Shark Stream over the last 45 minutes. I do want to give a special thank you to Bruce. I know he's still watching on the Shark Stream for being our sponsor here. Of course, the Connecticut APA is one of the Shark Stream's great sponsors. We do want to thank all of you for all of that. And we also want to thank all of our other amazing sponsors here. Thank you guys so much for all of that. That is Andy Gow, JJ Fishbein, Ben Strong, Harriman Real Estate, Mark Anthony Home Improvement, Viking Q's, of course, title sponsor, and Simona's Cloth, our title sponsor as well. Connecticut APA, as I mentioned before, Agency One Group, Vaculease, K Morgan, KM Maintenance, Nick Marino Billiard Sales and Services, the Enthusiast Shine, Pool Table Magic, Modern Barbershop, Man Cave Memories, Salado, Master Billiards, Michael's Deli, Jacoby Custom Cues, and of course their Connecticut dealer Bart Ravezzi, and the great Yale Billiards as well. Just a couple things before we end up on the Shark Stream. Set your clocks. The Derby City Classic is coming, and we are going to have huge action regarding the Derby City Classic coming up, guys.
And Jason Shaw's right. He's ready to go, man.
Yeah, he is ready to go.
He's ready to go. He's going to be excited. I know that. That commitment I saw from him, as we talked about earlier, was just unreal. And he's going right to Derby City. And Efren actually is going right to Derby City when he leaves here as well.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of big names there. It's going to be so exciting. When we're going to share everything we can with you and get you guys knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Or all the results and what's happened and stuff. So
yeah,
for
definitely.
Sure.
So mark your clocks here. I'm just going to make sure, I'm going to look up the Derby City Classic one time here just to make sure that I don't have the wrong dates for you.
I'm pretty sure it starts on the 21st.
This is,
I'm
I'm pretty
100%.
positive that it does as well. It is going to be on Derby City Classic 2022 is going to be January 21st through January 29th. So 9 days of huge action. 9-ball, 1 pocket, banks, Bigfoot 10-ball. Everybody's going to be there. Who will vie for the master of the table?
Everybody's going to be there. Absolutely, everybody's going to be there.
It's going to be unreal, man.
Pool is blowing up. I mean, our Shark Stream's blowing up. We just had the director of APA, of Connecticut APA, on here on our first Zoom call.
Yeah.
Good job. That
We
was
got
awesome.
Huge match, huge interviews to come.
Yes,
Definitely anybody who
big
wants to jump on the
ones.
Shark Stream. If you're somebody who's watching out there and you want to jump on the Shark Stream because you got something going on, we're going to be having guys like tournament directors here, maybe some pro players.
Yes,
we're going to talk to
definitely.
all the big boys here.
Yes.
We've got some feelers out there to the man who set up Mr. 714's big run. We might be able to talk to him. We've got a couple
Yep.
feelers out to some pro players who have
Yep.
responded to us, but we have nothing set in stone yet. As soon as we do, we'll be sure to get you on. So always tune back to Shark Talk Live. You never know who's going to be popping up on Zoom next.
Yep. Question Efren starts at 6 o'clock tomorrow.
Yes.
We open at 4:30. We're not open at 3 o'clock normal time. And if you don't have a VIP, it's going to be first come, first serve. We may even reach capacity limit and turn people away. We don't know.
What is the fire marshal's limit here?
200. So we have a lot
All right,
of people,
guys.
but it's going to be crazy. I mean, I'm getting calls from all over the place. We're sold out VIPs. We're sold out in single matches. So we're just looking for a great time, having the best player in the world all time here at Yale Billiards on the Shark Stream.
An amazing commentary coming up. It's going to be
Boom,
myself,
this guy.
Bobby Hunt, and the Kickin' Chicken. We are going to be commentating the Efren matches tomorrow, so you're definitely going to have some extra commentary there.
For sure. For sure, absolutely.
And yes, Anthony Petrozelli. One last thing on that, we did have a little social media controversy there, maybe a little tiff back and forth between Mr. Schmidt and Mr. Shaw. We'll get to that on a future episode of Shark Talk Live, just to make sure that we don't make
go back and forth. That was a big one, Timmy.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw the post, like what happened.
Yeah, we'll let the comment thread bloom a little bit, so we can get some answers on that before we start making some early assumptions yet.
But you guys did a great job today out there commenting on everything and get everything going. We appreciate it. We got a lot of people watching. I know everybody likes to watch us after hours as well.
Yeah.
And big things coming from the Shark Stream. Tim and I are kicking butt, taking names, man. Watch out.
Yeah. So we're going to see you next week. Shark Talk Live episode 34. You never know when it might pop up, so you better tune in 9 o'clock next Tuesday. We'll see you later.